Hi my angels, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a Jekyll Hyde inspired Halloween tutorial. It's in collaboration with Urban Decay. They have an amazing competition running at the moment, so I will leave all the details of it in the info box below. But if you would like to see how I got this makeup look, then please keep watching. So starting off with primer, I'm using the Pore Perfecting Primer, and this is so that our makeup and everything will last and all the makeup will kind of sit better as well. Then moving straight onto my eyes, I'm using the original Urban Decay Primer Potion on both of my eyes, but then we're going to move on to the kind of normal side of our face. So we are going in with the Naked Skin Foundation. I am in the shade 4.5. This is a beautiful kind of my skin but better looking foundation. It looks very natural. So I'm just putting that all over my face before kind of concentrating on the normal side. So on the kind of more normal side of my face, I'm going in with my concealer. This is the Naked Skin Concealer, and I'm putting it in the usual places that I like to conceal and highlight. So under my eyes, my forehead, around my mouth, and underneath where my contour would be. And again, just blending all of those lines out to make sure that everything is nice and kind of seamless looking. Then taking the Naked Light powder, I'm just setting all of those areas in place so nothing is going to kind of move or budge. Now once that's done, I'm taking my baked bronzer and I'm just going ahead and bronzing and contouring my face, so my cheekbones and the perimeters of my face, so my hairline and jawline. Grabbing the shade Skimp from the Naked Basics 2 palette, I'm actually using that as a highlight. This is a gorgeous shade for a highlight, so I'm putting that on the tops of my cheekbones and also a little bit on my brow bone before going in and filling my brows in. And here I'm using the brow beater. I'm just using light strokes to fill that in, and I'm also combing the hairs through as well to make it look nice and natural. Then taking that Skimp shade again, I'm just going and intensifying my highlight on my brow bone, and it also helps clear the kind of eyebrow filling that we did as well. Then taking my Perversion Eyeliner, I am going and lining my upper and lower waterline before moving on to the eyes. So I'm using Undone and Primal from that same Naked Basics 2 palette, and I'm just adding a bit of a kind of winged shape to my outer eye, and then I'm just making sure everything is nice and blended out. And then I'm using the shade Cover as a transition shade, and this is just going to help all of the eyeshadows look nice and blended in together. Then taking the same Undone and Primal combo, I'm just running that along my lower lash line as well, just to make sure it's nice and kind of smoked out. Then I'm taking a clean brush and making sure all of those eyeshadow lines are not only blended but like looking really nice and seamless. For mascara, I'm using the Perversion Mascara, and I'm doing a good couple of coats on my top lashes and also not forgetting my lower lashes as well. So the last step is to do the lipstick, and for the lipstick I decided to just use a lip liner. So this is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Lip Liner in the shade Venom, which is a gorgeous berry tone, and I'm just lining my lips and then filling them in, and that is one half of the face all done. So now we're going to move on to the other crazy green side. So I'm taking that same Naked powder and putting that all on the rest of my face, because this is going to act as a nice kind of blending tool. So taking the shade Freak from the Urban Decay Electric palette, I am just going to town and I'm basically painting my whole face with this shade. And the reason why I wanted to use this shade is because it looks really nice and metallic and like reptilian looking. So here you can see me doing everything on my face and making sure that there's a nice line between the two sides, not forgetting my ears and neck as well. Taking the shade Cult in the Velvet Eyeliner, I'm using that to actually fill my brows in. So I'm using kind of heavy strokes to fill them in so that they're nice and just semi-green, and then I'm also making some kind of hair-like strokes up the top part of my eyebrow, like you can see me doing here. But then I decided to go on top with the Ink for Eyes, which is a liquid liner, and kind of help define those and add a bit of dimension to my brows. So here you can see me adding some more flicks and then also going underneath the brow as well to make sure it's nice and defined. And then for my eyeshadows, I used Revolt from the same palette as a eyebrow highlight, and I found that the silver shade just just complemented this look so much. And then I went on to the shade Bender. Now this is kind of like a darker green, so we're going to use this to kind of contour the face and contour the eye. So here I'm adding it into the crease of my eye, and then also dragging it down my nose as well, and just kind of building that colour up until I am happy with the way it's looking. For the rest of the lid, I decided to add this gorgeous Scorpio shade, which is a kind of glittery shade from Urban Decay, and it's such a beautiful colour. So I'm using my finger to add that onto my eyelid, but then because I wanted that metallicness to still be in there, I took this shade called Lounge to add that kind of like two-tony kind of tone to my eye, and again I'm just using my finger for that. Now taking a matte black eyeshadow, this is called Crave from the original Naked Basics palette, I'm just kind of deepening up the crease, and then I'm also adding it to my lower lash line as well. Now because most of the eye is now done, I decided to intensify the highlight, so I'm adding a little bit more of the Revolt shade onto my brow bone just to kind of make that really pop. Now I'm moving on to my Perversion Eyeliner, and here I am lining my upper and lower waterline before going in and adding a top liner as well, and I wanted this to be quite thick and intense because I did go in with the ink for eyes to create a really dramatic wing on that eye. So here you can see me just slowly building up that wing, and then I'm also dragging it down into my lower lash line as well and kind of thickening the eyeliner up there. Now I didn't want this to look too harsh, so I did go back in with the matte black eyeshadow just to soften that and kind of like smoke it out a little bit. Now we are going to go in with the shade Bender pretty much all over our face. So I'm going in and just kind of contouring and hollowing out areas of my face. It's kind of similar to how you would contour your skin with like a contour and highlight, and I found that pressing the product onto my skin worked the best. And I did take more of that Freak shade from the Electric palette in case I felt that it was looking too messed up or muddy. Then taking the Perversion Mascara, I wanted to make sure I left enough time for my mascara to dry before adding some falsies, so here I'm just adding that onto my upper and lower lashes. And then going back in with Bender and just going in and just contouring the heck out of my face, and not forgetting my ears as well. And like I said, if you find that it's looking too like dark in certain areas, you can just go on top with the Freak shade from the Urban Decay Electric palette. Now taking this shade of eyeliner in Cult, I'm just going in and adding some slight kind of wrinkles almost onto my forehead and really slowly building up the colour. And then I decided to take the Perversion Eyeliner, which is obviously a black eyeliner, to deepen that up. And then to highlight certain areas, I'm using this shade Thrash just to give it some sort of dimension and it's not looking too flat. So once that is all complete, I am going to finish my lips off. So here I'm using the same Perversion eyeliner as a lipstick. So I'm lining my lips and then filling them all in. And I wanted to give it kind of like an evil smile. So I'm taking the ink for eyes and kind of extending the smile out and upwards like you can see me doing here, and making sure it's nice and blended in with the rest of my lip. And then taking a lip brush to make sure the two lines in between the two lip colours are blended. For my lashes, I use these beautiful trap lashes by Urban Decay, and I'm making sure that I'm kind of pushing them up because I wanted them to be really lifted. And last but not least, I took my ink for eyes again, and I kind of like wanted to intensify my lower lashes, so I'm just adding some like extra flicks on there. And to set everything in place, I'm using my Urban Decay makeup setting spray to make sure all the hard work that we've done is kind of put in place. And that, you guys, is the final Jekyll and Hyde inspired makeup look. You can totally customize this look. You can add some blood down the center, you can change the green to another color, and it's all just using eyeshadows. So I hope you guys liked this tutorial. Please don't forget to check out the competition details below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!